So anyhow, that's how the village came about. We had to get together and continue what we have, all these ideas. We're going to implement. We want to help our kids. We want to help our parents. We want to help our teachers. Okay?
Okay.
So that's where we are.
So just to be clear,
You understand?
just to be clear, I think there might be just some miscommunication there, and I know Ms. Press, you might want to respond. She's the Chief Family Officer, if you haven't met her yet, but she does a tremendous job, her and her team, to creating the spaces for parents to connect, so I definitely encourage you to reach out to her. I think the idea that all of this kind of went away isn't accurate, but we want to make sure we get it right, and so please feel free to reach out and speak with her, as soon as you're done. She can provide you with
perhaps you weren't aware that we had these advisory councils going on, or?
Yeah, you can absolutely respond.
Ms. Price, can you come and sit at Ms. Solis' chair? Thank you. Now you're on a commission.
I don't think I want to be that. Good evening. Thank you so much for, again, taking the courage to come up and speak. But I do definitely want to address some of the things that you stated, and I want to be able to separate fact from fiction, starting with the idea of Parent Advisory Council, which is something that I attended last spring a couple of times when I first joined on over at the high school.
You must have been maybe in April, because I know I wasn't there. One was on my son's birthday.
Yep, and I think I saw
and then we didn't maybe have one more after that.
I'm sorry?
And maybe we had one more after that. So
Perhaps,
I'm not
yep.
sure.
But I
Otherwise,
did definitely partake in Parent Advisory Council. I remember Ms. Washington being there, as well as her husband. Condolences to her family.
Thank you for acknowledging.
I want to dispel this idea that someone was pushed out from Parent Advisory Council. There's been no pushing out of any particular group
Well,
or
no,
any.
we weren't pushed out. We just weren't invited back. And we were recruiting actively, like bringing new people's, new ideas.
I do want to be. Thank you. I do want to be able to invite it back to what specifically. I do remember having 2 sessions in the fall. I think you were present for one of them over at the high school, where we circled up and talked about coming out of that space, like what should happen. More importantly, I think a family.
It wasn't a parent advisory council, though. Those were just open meetings.
For parents, yeah.
Okay.
For families specifically.
Yeah, families.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not to, like families.
And one I think was called because of the violence issue, and it was called quickly after that.
And I think instead of going, I think we might be going down a rabbit hole of what happened, who was where. I think the ask that I hear you having is for
that is
additional
a lot.
conversation. Yeah, additional conversation around how we engage more families and how we make sure that we do. And I know Ms. Prass is constantly thinking about that and has done a tremendous job in doing so. So I don't want to understate that. But I'll give Ms. Prass the final word so we can go to your last question, because I know Mr. Richardson would like to wrap up.
Yeah, and just coming out of Family University space, one of the key takeaways that was expressed was there are currently things already happening in our district where families gather. And so the idea of expecting families to come to us, being able to go to families where meetings are already happening, and using that as a space to help publicize, broadcast, use opportunities to share things that are currently happening in the district. But most importantly, I want to dispel this idea that someone or individuals weren't invited back or pushed out of any meetings, because without our families or our teachers, we cannot.
And I'm not the only one that felt this.
We cannot be successful, and that's why I thought it was important to come and be like, that simply isn't true or did not happen.
Yeah, this is super, super helpful, and I see an action step for us is even, and thank you, Mr. Press, for providing that clarity, a space for, if that's how it was felt, how do we gather that feedback so that